Hello, my students. We are back again. Today we are going to learn the use of the grammar for Unit 8, the first part. In this part, we are going to learn about passive voice. But before we get started, I am going to read an aviso de privacidad. A partir de este momento iniciamos la grabación de la sesión de clases en Zoom. El uso de este video será única y exclusivamente para fines académicos. Ninguna persona puede usar las imágenes, audio o información que aquí se comparte con fines ajenos a la clase. Los derechos son propiedad del Instituto Oriente, AC. Este espacio se rige bajo las normas del Manual de Convivencia del Colegio. All right, so we are going to continue with Unit 8. In Unit 8, we are going to see the use of the passive voice. So let's go to the information right away. Okay, passive voice. We use passive voice to emphasize the action in a sentence. The action is the most important in the passive voice sentence. The subject or the doer in passive voice does not do the action. Yes, somebody does the action, but it's not important. Let's see. Okay, we have the concept of active voice. What is active voice? Active voice is what you and I use every day in a normal and ordinary conversation. For example, the student visits the pyramids. Here, the students is the most important because the student does the action. The student performs the action represented in a verb. All right, the student visits pyramids. Pyramids is the complement, okay? Or the other part of the sentence that is important or the most important in passive voice. All right, let's continue. That is active voice, subject, verb, and complement. Now, when we have passive voice, we have the concept of passive voice when, look at the order. The pyramids are in the first position, the verb in the middle, and the doer of the action at the end. So, in passive voice, the person who performs the action is not that important. The most important is what the person does. Yes, for example, in active voice you say, the student visits the pyramids. The student visits the pyramid. In passive voice, pyramid is the most important part. Pyramids are visited by the student. The student is not that relevant. Yes? Now, pay attention here. Pyramids. Pyramids is plural. 3 pyramids. Now, in the verb, this plural affects the grammar of the verb. This plural is important to consider the auxiliary be or am, is, or are in the plural or the singular. In this case, we have are, which is plural. And visited is the verb in the past participle form. So in this concept of passive sentence, you need an auxiliary, the auxiliary be, are, or is in singular, and the verb in the past participle. Let's see. Here, we have the past participle. The past participle is similar to the verb in past for the verbs that are regular. So you say cook, cooked, discover, discovered, clean, cleaned, check, checked, move, moved. For the irregular group, the verb is not ending in ed. The verb is ending differently because they keep the root eat, eaten, take, taken, build, built, see, seen, tell, told. These verbs here are very important for you to memorize this column, because this is the column that you are going to use when you construct a sentence in the passive. The two groups are very important. So please memorize these two little lists. Copy them in your notebook so that you have a reference of what verbs you need to use in this unit. All right? Now, here we have some sentences and we have the passive form or the structure in red. Look, complete the sentences. Use the auxiliary is for singular or the auxiliary are and the correct form of the verb in parentheses. The verb is know. And we say, these are sentences in the passive voice. And it says, the Galapagos Islands, the islands are plural. So my auxiliary is plural. And the past participle form of my verb has to be, or the past participle is known. Yes? So you say, the Galapagos Islands are known for their unique variety of animals and plant species. Now let's check a singular sentence. 2. The forbidden city is only one. The forbidden city is filled. We have is for the singular form of the auxiliary be. The auxiliary is always be, are or is, all the time, depending on the subject. If the subject is singular, the auxiliary is. If the subject is plural, the auxiliary is are. And then the verb in parentheses in the past participle. Check. The verb known and filled are from the groups that we studied in the previous slide. We have irregular and regular. Irregular verbs have a different ending, and regular always finish in ed. Okay? So that is important to remember. You need to use the verb in the past participle form. But if you don't memorize the past participle, then it's difficult to complete the formula in the structure for a sentence in the passive. Remember, when we are using the passive voice, the person who performs or does the action is now not important, goes to the end. The most important is what you do. Yes? Let's continue with number 3. The Taj Mahal. Taj Mahal is one temple, is one place, singular. My auxiliary is singular. Then, my verb is make. The past participle of the verb make is made. So you need to memorize the past participle to construct the formula for the structure for the passive voice. Okay? And we complete. The Taj Mahal is made of marble. 4. The walls of Taj Mahal, the walls, okay, plural. The walls of Taj Mahal are plural, so my auxiliary needs to be in plural. And we have here singular, singular, plural, and we use the plural here. The verb in parentheses is decorate. So the past participle is with ed ending, decorated. So the walls of Taj Mahal are decorated with many floral designs. 5. The inside walls of St. Basil's Cathedral, the inside walls. Pay attention to the subject. The first part of the sentence indicates if the information is in singular or plural. Depending on the singular or the plural, you select is or are. You check the verb, you put the verb in the past participle form, and you complete the sentence. For example, here, the first part of the sentence is the walls of the Taj Mahal. The walls indicates plural, auxiliary in plural. Verb decorate, verb in the past participle, are decorated with many floral designs. The inside walls, the first part of the sentence, give me the plural or singular. In this case, plural, my auxiliary is plural. My verb in parentheses is paint. The past participle of paint is painted. So we have auxiliary in plural, verb in the past participle, and then every few years. The inside walls of St. Basil's Cathedral are painted every few years. Obviously, a person painted the cathedral. Obviously, a person decorated the walls of Taj Mahal. But that person, the doer of the action in passive voice, is irrelevant, is not important to mention. That is why in the sentence, you do not include the doer of the action. It's not necessary to mention. Only the important thing that is done is what you put in the sentence at the beginning, the structure for passive, and the complement of the sentence. 3 elements: subject, passive structure, and the complement. You see, that is passive voice. Number 6, the Sydney Opera House. How many houses? It's only one opera house. So my auxiliary is. So I use auxiliary is because this is singular, is singular, are is plural. Locate is the verb in parentheses. This verb is in the past participle. This verb belongs to the list of regular verbs. My past participle of regular verbs finish in ed. So I use my past participle, my auxiliary in singular, and I complete my sentence. Part 1, the Sydney Opera House, indicating singular auxiliary, is singular auxiliary, part of my structure for passive. Located is my verb in the past participle. In Australia is my third part of my sentence. So I use irregular, regular, irregular, regular, regular, regular verbs in these 6 examples. Auxiliary, plural, singular, singular, plural, plural, singular. So remember, you need the subject, the passive, and the complements. Yes? And we use the most important thing, but not the doer of the action. The person that performs the action is not necessary to include. Is it clear? I hope you have a clear idea with this explanation. This is the end of the explanation of the grammar of passive voice. The activities related to this grammar are going to be at Cervo Escolar in a PDF file for you to complete. Please, you do the activities, but if you have a question, watch this video as many times as necessary. And whenever you have a question, write it down, and the 8th of May, you can ask me. Have a great day. See you. Bye-bye. Thank you.